What I will present today are personal reflections on bridging theology, the humanities, and the hard sciences through transdisciplinarity. My name is DORU COSTACHE. I'm a proto-presbyter of the Romanian Orthodox Church, serving in Australia, and I'm also an associate professor of theology at the Sydney College of Divinity. And currently, I hold a fellowship, the Selby Old Fellowship in Religious History of the Orthodox Christian Faith at the University of Sydney Library. 30 years on from the signing of the Charter of Transdisciplinarity in November 1994, the issues listed in its preamble continue to trouble our world. Scattered knowledge through the proliferation of academic and non-academic disciplines still leads to an exponential increase of knowledge, which makes a global view of the human being impossible. The absence of a form of intelligence capable of grasping the cosmic dimension of the present conflicts still renders us unable to confront the complexity of our world and the present challenge of the spiritual and material self-destruction of the human species. The present rupture between increasingly quantitative knowledge and increasingly impoverished inner identity is still leading to the rise of a new brand of obscurantism with incalculable social and personal consequences. All these are quotations from the preamble of the Charter. The other issues mentioned there are equally damaging to our planetary ecosystem and its inhabitants, human and non-human alike. This makes transdisciplinarity more relevant than ever before, especially given the almost complete breakdown of the current cultural, economical, political, religious, and social systems, all of which are equally incapable of rescuing our species from the dirty waters where it swims. But what I'd like to share today for this anniversary of the Charter is of a personal nature. That is my own encounter with transdisciplinarity as an academic and as a priest. My story begins in 1995, when I was accepted in the doctoral program of Orthodox Theology at the University of Bucharest, Romania. It was the year after the signing of the Charter. But I didn't hear anything about transdisciplinarity before 1999, when Basarab Nicolescu's manifesto was published in Romanian translation, and it included the Charter. By that time, the first draft of my interdisciplinary dissertation, which aimed to assess the anthropic cosmological principle from two theological viewpoints, of Maximus the Confessor and Dumitru Stăniloae, was already submitted to my supervisor for feedback. Fortunately, he disliked it immensely and sent me back to the drawing board. His main criticism, which I then heard obsessively repeated from lesser academics and no academics at all for the next 5 years, was that I interpreted Maximus's theology in an evolutionary sense. My mentor didn't say a word about Stăniloae's own evolutionary theology, but I was too deeply shaken by his views to react. So fortunately again, I had to rework my dissertation. What you see here, the cover of Nicolescu's Nous, la particule et le monde, and his signature, his dedication of this copy to me, which is one of the very few treasures I brought from Romania to get with me in Australia. As Nicolescu's manifesto was now available, I proceeded to read, and lo and behold, down was I through the rabbit hole, towards what Nicolescu calls poetically La Vallée de l'Étonnement, the Valley of Wonder. His introduction to transdisciplinarity was the methodological lens I needed for reconsidering my approach to the matters of hand. and so much better equipped. I redrafted several parts of my dissertation, which I then passed by defending it publicly in 2000. To my knowledge, I was the first Romanian theologian who engaged transdisciplinarity on that level for the purposes of bridging theology, the humanities, and the hard sciences. I remained a convert to transdisciplinarity ever since, applying it both to my research and to my pastoral work, but not without tweaking it to suit my purposes. Let me give you a few examples. But not before I show you this photo, which I treasure, taken in 2012 when I met Basarab Nicolescu for the last time. We didn't have any opportunity after that. Through the mediation of Magda Stavinsky, a common friend of Nicolescu's and mine, I met him in 2001 on the occasion of the first ever international conference on science and religion held in a post-communist country, Romania. I met him again in 2002 when he gave me a signed copy of his Nous, la particule et le monde. We met a couple more times before my relocation to Sydney, Australia in 2004, and only once after that in 2012. By now, I was an outcast in theological circles because of working within transdisciplinary parameters, but I matured as a believer, a thinker, and a researcher. In 2003, I published a book chapter, Logos, Evolution, and Finality in the Anthropological Research Towards a Transdisciplinary Solution, in a volume curated by Nicolescu and Stavinsky. Then in 2005, Nicolescu and I published together in Romanian a study of the Christological doctrine of Chalcedon in transdisciplinary perspective. I published another explicitly transdisciplinary contribution in Nicolescu and Attila Ertaș's edited volume of 2014. My chapter there was the transdisciplinary carrots of patristic Byzantine tradition. And then, on the occasion of Nicolescu's 80th birthday in 2022, I wrote a little tribute, Beyond Religion, Orthodox Christianity in Transdisciplinary Perspective. This last article also marks my transdisciplinary turn in matters pastoral. Indeed, it expresses what I hold true and consistently apply in my work, namely, that to become a true Christian, one needs to adopt a trans-religious attitude, as Nicolescu calls it, which is a wonderful conduit for implementing Christ's commandment of love for all. Apart from the above, I haven't published anything explicitly transdisciplinary. That said, the method, especially its axioms of various levels of reality and the corresponding levels of perception, is present in most of my research. For example, and I'll be giving only very recent examples, my 2021 monograph, Humankind and the Cosmos, Early Christian Representations, begins by discussing an outcome of over-specialization for both humanities and the hard sciences, specifically the incapacity of humanities scholars, including theologians, to borrow scientific information that can lead to the understanding of the universe in Christian representations of reality, as well as the incapacity of hard scientists to appreciate the experience of unusual levels of reality in Christian anthropology and cosmology. Among the solutions I propose for the purposes of overcoming this issue features the transdisciplinary method. The same goes for a book I co-authored, A New Copernican Turn, Contemporary Cosmology, the Self, and Orthodox Science-Engaged Theology in 2024, where I deployed transdisciplinary tools in order to bridge the gap between the contemplative self and cosmology. So far, my encounter with transdisciplinarity through Nicolescu and others proved to be extremely beneficial for my work. I have a few explicitly transdisciplinary projects in the pipeline, and I can't wait for opportunities to bring them to completion. I hope that others will turn to transdisciplinarity too, for the benefit of all. Thank you.